Good morning, fellas. How are we doing today? Bro, Shizu took the words out of my mouth when he said, why is the Chikorita trying to bob into the music? Why is she kind of jamming to it? I couldn't agree more, fellas. What's up? Good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? My name's Patrouski. Welcome to the PokeMMO Stream Recap, your daily source of tips, tricks, information, discussion, community. What's happening inside the PokeMMO community? What are people up to? Let's go ahead and jump into it. First things first, we have a catch event today. We have a ton of catch events, 3 catch events this one weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm calling it the big catch event weekend, dude. It's pretty crazy. It's back to back to back. So there's this Chikorita catch event today. If you're watching the live stream, yesterday if you're watching the stream recap, don't worry. If you're watching the recap, there are upcoming catch events plenty for you. This one is on the 21st of November at 12, noon ET at Route 31 in Johto. It should be a pretty good catch event to throw either synchronized Pokemon and Nest Ball, or even just False Swipe Pokeball. I might be False Swipe Pokeball in all of the Bellsprouts in this event just to save some Pokeyen on my Ironman account because I've been broke as hell. You have 1 hour to catch as many Chikorita and Bellsprout as possible. If you're trying to win the event, you actually don't want to pop lore and you don't want to catch Chikoritas. It's just going to waste too much time, even though they are cool Pokemon. If you want to have fun and catch some Chikoritas along the way during the event, do whatever you have fun with, right? Nature bonuses are +3 for Jolly, -3 for Timid. And the prize is just a non-shiny. Gift Chikorita potentially 6 times 31. Next up is the Trubbish catch event. This is tomorrow, or the 22nd of November, at once again noon ET at Route 5 in Unova. Trubbish is +5, Solosis is +2, Gothita is 0, Minccino is -5. You have your nature bonuses like +3 for Modest, +2 for Rash, and -5 for Adamant. There's a shiny here, a shiny Trubbish up for grabs. I love shiny Trubbish, shiny Garbodor, amazing Pokemon, +1000 RP, winning free RP right now in the middle of in between events during event season. One of the best time, might be the best time in Pokemon to win some free reward points. Next up, we have the Minun and Plusle catch event coming up on Sunday, the 23rd of November. This one's also at noon ET at Route 110 in Hoenn. Plusle's the only catchable Pokemon for this event, but the shiny prize is a shiny Minun, which is a beautiful shiny. I think Minun looks much better than Plusle, so I'm glad they did it in this kind of order. Now, that's the 3 catch events this weekend, the big 3, some might call them. Now, we also have something I want to work on and get better at and better at over time. The PokeMMO Community Showcase. Shout out to Xanarchy and all my other Discord mods who have set this up in the Discord, where you can post, if you're a PokeMMO player, you can post, what have you achieved recently? What are you working on? And I really want it to be, you can do whatever you want. If you got a shiny you care about, put it in there, sure. I want it to be really weird stuff, niche stuff. I want to see people's personality. I want to see goals that people care about, not because it makes the most Pokeyen, not because it's the most efficient or pragmatic or whatever, but because it's what brings them the most joy. I think it's a beautiful thing. So, for example, we have this dad of 4. This guy's a fucking father to 4 kids. He took the hardest thing to do in the world and he did it 4 times. And he's still trying to play Pokemon when he can. He put in a few hundred hours over the past few months, and he got complete Pokedex and had a lot of success during the Halloween event. So I think this is the kind of accomplishment. It's got a story behind it, some lore behind it. Congrats to Corium, dude. Very, very cool accomplishments. And then next up, Iron Mental. I love seeing stories like this. Iron Mental, been playing an Ironman account for the past, 4 months, has 800 hours, which is crazy. 800 hours in Ironman, over 100,000 encounters dry. He has complete Pokedex, almost all roaming legendaries, which is insane in that amount of time. And he surpassed his main account. This is like one of the coolest stories, is when people start playing PokeMMO, they get a little bored, they want to try something else, they try Iron Man and find out that Iron Man is actually like the better game mode for them. They actually enjoy it more. I love stories like that. You saw it a lot in old school RuneScape when Iron Man came out. I think it's really fucking cool. So congrats to this guy, Iron Mental. I love people enjoying the Iron Man account. It's not for everybody. It takes a lot of time, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of beauty to it, because everything has to be earned for yourself. And next up, I'm honored to be able to introduce you guys to the GOAT of the Battle Palace. This is, I'm going to call him, I know for a while, but like Shaman. This guy is fucking talented. Yeah, Q8 Altaria in Twitch chat. This guy, he talks about how he just clearly knows the Battle Palace and the Battle Frontier like more than anybody in the game. Look at all 4 of his accounts. The top 4 is all his accounts, and his win streak compared to the next person that isn't him is insane. The 93 win streak. Imagine first place being 93 and then second place is 61. That's the next player that isn't him. That's ludicrous. He is so ahead of the pack in terms of theory crafting and strategies when it comes to the battle frontier. I believe he has some YouTube videos about it and like some like explanations. It's a very detailed thing. It's really cool. This is someone who's learned a piece of content, become an expert in a piece of content that most of us never even play. I've barely touched the battle frontier. I've AFK grinded there very casually for BP on the Ironman account, but it's not something I really, you know, deep dive into. But this guy has, and I find that very fucking cool. Next up, a bit of a sad story, a 2021 story, so it's been a few years. He's been able to sit on it for a bit, but it's still a crazy one to see. Shout out to Titan Jelly. This man lost a shiny Togepi 4 years ago to recoil damage. This thing threw up a takedown or whatever, double edge or whatever move it was, and it died to recoil damage. Not something you see every day. A very, very sad. This was just back when you could be backseat and be like, oh my goodness, still jab, he should have avoided this. Back in 2021, we just didn't know as much. We didn't know, oh yeah, you should bring a Spirit Tomb to every shiny hunt where there could be a, you know, a double-edged mon to avoid recoil. Like, we just didn't think about that stuff. Like, we just didn't think about, we didn't care as much, we didn't try as hard. The PokeMMO community has come so far, and everybody's gotten so much better at the game. And it's just one of those things. You know, rest in peace to this Togepi, man. Just a sad thing to see. Next up, Iron Chastels on the PvP arc. It's always cool to see Iron Men hitting up the PvP ladder. It is so much harder to be an Iron Man and to be, you know, PvP is already hard enough in PokeMMO, let alone having to go create all of your own Pokemon from scratch, right? Having to get all of your items. You see that life orb that he has? He would have had to grind BP for that. You see that heat rock his Ninetales has? He had to fucking go frisk thief Torkles to get that heat rock, right? That choice band, that air balloon. Do you know that air balloon's actually one of the most like valuable PvP resources on an Ironman account, because you have to buy all air balloons with BP? Like insane stuff you wouldn't normally think about. Like air balloons are so cheap on a main account, you know? This guy is 40 and 18. He is on an almost 70% win rate on an Ironman account. 70% win rate on an Ironman account? That's one of the craziest win rates I've seen. And I want to give credit, because he gives credit. He gives credit to, I believe, Smooge and Spidget, who he was inspired to take this team comp from. Which is, I'm a big fan of shouting out. I always say, like, I love PokeMMO PvP. I can help people get into it a little bit, right? But if you want to get better, if you want to go anywhere beyond, I can help people. I can help introduce you to PvP. But if you want to do anything beyond an introduction, please go check out, you know, Smooge, Spidget, AFC Adino, all these other amazing PvP content creators that are doing really, really cool stuff. Because I'm just not an expert. I'm not an expert. I can't take you that far on it, right? This is just insane. 70% win rate in PvP is just ridiculous. He got himself the Conkeldurr, which the Conkeldurr is one of the coolest rewards on the Ironman account. I mean, this guy's got to be one of the best, if not the top five Ironman PvPers, I would say, if not the best. It's so up there, man. It's so impressive. Congrats to Chastels. And then thank you for the sub, Aim Turn, by the way. Next up, this comes from Vanilla in game. I believe their Discord name was Awoo. This is a really insane accomplishment. This person started playing PokeMMO about 1 month ago. Look at their fucking start date, October 19th. About 1 month ago. They have 361 hours played. They have complete Pokedex. They beat all the raids during Halloween. They beat Cresselia. They beat Heatran. All of these Pokemon they're showing off are all their OT raid Pokemon. This person has been playing for about 1 month. About 1 month, and has OT raid, Ninetales, Murkrow, Cresselia, Typhlosion, Heatran, Torkoal, Rotom-Wash, another second Typhlosion, Zapdos, Frostlass, Raichu, Starmie, Mamoswine, Darmanitan, Volcarona, Mienshao, Gallade, Chandelure, Primeape, Shiftry, Kingdra, Weavile, Melodic, Minun, Plusle, Octillery, Empoleon, Blissey, Whimsicott, Ampharos, Tyranitar, Bisharp, Medicham, Crocodile, fucking Pelipper, fucking Nidoking. Like, if you put PokeMMO as a game that rewards your time, where if you put in the work you will get like benefits and like this is insane. This is just insane levels of progression in such a short period of time. This is really impressive from a true gamer. So that is our community accomplishments. If you want to share your own, put it up in the Discord. I would love to talk about what people, the hard workers of the game who, you know, aren't online creating drama or doing dumb shit, just playing the game, having fun, doing what they love, show it off in my Discord, link in the description. Let's go ahead and jump into actually playing some PokeMMO today. We have that catch event today. Wish me luck, fellas, and good luck on whatever grinds you're doing today while watching this on your second monitor. I see you. I know what you're doing. Good luck. Have fun. GG's. Let's jump into it. Thanks for watching. Yo, Pat, do you ever hear of anyone getting a shiny from the Celadon City Casino? It happens. It's very rare. It's probably happened 5 or 10 times, like less than that maybe. The reason it doesn't really happen anymore. It used to happen a lot more, and the reason why was because back in the day that was the only way to get certain Pokemon. So for example, dude, we used to buy Dratinis from the Celadon City Casino because that was the best way to consistently get Dratinis. Yes, you could fish them in the Safari Zone in Kanto with a Super Rod, but it was so rare and so hard to catch, it was literally more consistent to just buy them from the casino. And then secondly to that, Porygon, the only way, literally the only way to get Porygon in PokeMMO back in 2013, 2014, 2015-ish was to get it from the casino. That was it. So that was the only way you could get wild Porygons. The cheapest Porygon would be like 40k, 60k back then. And then you'd have to shiny hunt Porygon by just buying them from the casino. It's an insane, you don't see it nowadays. We don't have that, you don't see that as much, right? I kind of miss the days. That honestly is one thing. I don't know if we'll ever get back to that, and I'm curious the community's thoughts. I miss the days of Pokemon having a good base value. We don't really have that anymore. For example, like all starter Pokemon, and they tried to keep it with like lures. Some things are worth like a few thousand Pokeyen, right? I mean, some things still have some value. Like Squirtles are like 3k, but like Squirtles used to be like 15k minimum, right? What are Porygons these days? Porygons, there's a cheap one to be if you want to flip it really quick, but like Porygons are probably one of your better mons that holds some base value, like 8,000 Pokeyen per Porygon. That's like pretty good, but even then, like it's much cheaper than what like Porygon used to be a year or two ago. 20k base price, 25k base price, unless it was like a swarm. To be fair, maybe there was a swarm. Look at all these. To be fair, look at this. All these listed 23 minutes ago. It's a good indicator of there probably was just a swarm. Maybe Porygon's price is actually still holding at like a 20k price range. Yeah, but they're all just like caught from, well, these are for 18 hours ago, so probably not, probably like a 9k price range. So yeah, I kind of miss the days of when just getting a certain species was hard. You know, I feel like we've made things so much easier in PokeMMO over the years. And I can talk about that. I'll probably talk about that at some point today, because there's a big misconception recently that PokeMMO only nerfs things, and that is objectively a misconception, and I'll explain why. I'm just gonna do. I'll do it now, because otherwise people are, you know, that'd be upset. It'd be annoying. It'd be annoying if I was watching the video. It'd be annoying to like tease it and then not explain it. So a big misconception I've seen recently is people saying like, oh, PokeMMO only nerfs things. They nerfed the netball change. They've been nerfing gym runs recently, right? They nerfed what else? They've nerfed a few things recently. The problem is, it depends on when you started playing the game, and it all comes down to your anecdotal perception, right? I've been playing this game for a long time. From my perception, back in 2020, 2021, the reality is Jimmy runs back in 2021 used to make 150,000 Pokeyen per hour. Back in 2021, that was the best strat. And then in 2022, or 2021, they made 150k. Later in 2021, they go from like 150 to 180k, right? And then in 2022, we start seeing 200k plus Pokeyen per hour strats. And then in like same in 2022, we go from like 200k to 220 to 240. And then in like 2023, we break the like 250k plus barrier of profit. We get up to like 260, 280. Over the years, we kept seeing all these buffs, all these changes, player advancements, as well as things like the teleporters being added, as well as things like custom strings getting better, as well as things like Control Z and like all these things being developed and utilized. There were all these buffs for years and years and years in PokeMMO. Richest Charms getting cheaper for a bit. There were all these buffs that took gym reruns from 150k to 180k to 220 to 240 to 260 to 280 to 300 to 350 to 400 to 450. Like at peak gym reruns were making like 450,000 Pokeyen in an hour. And now they've nerfed them back down a bit, and the players are really upset. And I understand, because when you have something and you change, you take it away, it's hard. I get it. But you also have to understand the perspective of, it's not that we're just nerfing things. It's that we're nerfing right now, and it's tough. If you're a newer player, it's a tough thing to swallow. I get it. I empathize, right? We're nerfing a lot of things that were broken for too long is kind of the problem. And there's still good critiques there of like, and I'm guessing if we're nerfing things like that, and once again, the Jimmy Run nerf recently was an 8% nerf, only if you use Control Z. If you don't use Control Z, there was no nerf for you. If you didn't even, which most players don't use Control Z, if you don't use Control Z, there was no changes to your Jimmy Run. It was not nerfed at all. And a lot of people, I don't like the fear mongering of like, devs are nerfing everything, they're nerfing all the free-to-play player strats, blah 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 blah. Like, that's just factually not true. They're nerfing some things by 8% after they were buffed by hundreds of percent for years. We cannot be afraid of the word. I notice a lot of new players afraid of the word nerf, right? Whereas nerfs are done to help the game, the same way that buffs are done to help the game. Nerfs are not bad and buffs are not good. They're both neutral. They both could be good or could be bad depending on what they do. Another good example is the netball change. This was a huge misunderstanding, is that netball was like always the way it was, and then it got nerfed. Netball got nerfed and it ruined ditto farming, blah blah blah. No, netball 4 years ago was a pretty useless Pokeball. It was sometimes used in water fights, yada yada yada. And then they changed it. They changed netball so that it would work with soak, or I think it already did. They upped netball's catch rate to 3.5 times. I think it previously did work with soak, but it was like netball was like a 2.5 times catch rate, so there was never a reason to do it, right? So they upped netball's catch rate. They changed a bunch of the Pokeballs. They buffed netball in like 2023, 2022, I want to say, one of those years. They buffed netball, and the buff was so broken they had to kind of revert it or re-nerf it, and then the post-nerf netball was still stronger than the original netball. So what happened was they buffed netball. It was blatantly broken. Everybody knew from like day one. I told people 8 months ahead of time this ball will get nerfed. It took them too long to nerf it, but I thought it will get nerfed. It's so busted. Right now the metagame is, you want a diverse Pokeball metagame, and at the time the metagame was soak, False Swipe, Spore, Netball, every Pokemon in the entire game. There was no diversity. You would never decide, oh, this is a low. I'm gonna Nest Ball. I'm gonna Quick Ball. No. Netball. Netball was so busted. You would always Netball, which is not engaging gameplay. But players got used to it because it was so easy. It was so broken from a personal player perspective, but it wasn't healthy for the game. And I don't like players who want things that are broken and like beneficial for them, but like bad for the game and hurt tons of people. I don't empathize with that at all, unfortunately, for better or for worse. So I'm driving from this alpha catch. So netball got buffed. It was so broken, and then a bunch of people started playing in the middle in that period, and then it got nerfed. And a bunch of players are like, "What the hell? I love netball. It got nerfed." Well, it got nerfed after because it got buffed because it was so broken. But a lot of new players didn't see the buff, so they have this like this perception thing, right? This problem of like, if you don't know the history of Pokemon, you don't always know why something is the case or what's happening. So it's this tough. And how could you know without someone explaining it to you about the history? So there's that situation. There's been a lot of situations like that, like the Jimmy runs, the netballs, where things have been buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. And then we finally nerf because the economy's out of line, or like, you know, ditto catching is crazy, or like there's problems with the economy, and everybody's like upset about the nerfs. And it's like, we had to nerf things because they were so busted. And then and it's hurting the economy. A big thing I talk about is nerfing alphas, and the player base is really upset. Not every, some people are so upset right now. One of my top voted comments, recently on a video of mine was, "Stop nerfing everything. Nerfs are bad. Stop blah blah blah." And it's like, no, nerfs aren't bad. You fundamentally misunderstand what a nerf is and how that works. If you hear the word nerf and you think it's bad for the players, you need to like reanalyze things from a ground perspective. Like, that's not how that works at all. It could be a bad thing, it could be a good thing, depending on the change, right? Buffs and nerfs are not bad and good. It's a neutral thing that is dependent on the change. If something gets buffed, imagine they buff Jimmy runs to 1 million Pokeyen per hour, and then all of a sudden everything just inflates in price to correlate with that. So there's no change. There's no change / it's a negative change, because now your Pokeyen you had prior to the update is worth less, right? That's a buff, but it's a hugely negative change to the economy, right? Imagine we nerf alphas. And yes, it lowers the value or lowers the price of alphas, but then it raises the price of every other Pokemon, raises the price of Dittos, raises the price of 1x31s. Now we bring back catching for profit into the economy, bring back new player money making methods. Right now in the game, there are almost no new player money making methods because we've destroyed them with things like alphas, too many good IV mons, too much deflation, too many good IV mons coming in from mysterious balls, alphas, too many 2x31s, things like that. We have to nerf things to get the economy under control, and a lot of people hear the word nerf and they like get scared, and that's not, you can't let buzzwords have that much control over you. Not what you're gonna do at the end of the day, but like, yeah, that's about, hopefully this logically makes sense and explained to people why. Like, don't be afraid of nerfs, please, as a casual or anything. Like, nerfs could be an amazing nerfs. Something could get nerfed and you could go from making 200k Pokeyen average to 300k. It's not, nerf does not mean bad or make your experience harder. It just means a change that is going to make something in less power. When you make something else less powerful, it brings everything else in line or allows other things to flourish. That's the point of a nerf. Hopefully this makes sense. I've seen a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation, a lot of fear mongering in the Pokemon community recently that I wanted to clarify with that. Hopefully that that clears some things up. This is a great, I'm so glad you asked. Hey, I'm new to the game. Is it okay to stay in one region for some time and enjoy the region, or must I push through and complete all of them to unlock something, for example? Like, no, it's a great, obviously, please, if you enjoy it, please stay in one region and enjoy it. You should never, if you're having fun, don't move on. Don't, you know, shake things up. If you're having fun, enjoy it, cherish that, right? It's, yes, it is more efficient to go rush through all the regions, you know, do a Jimmy run team, blah, blah, blah. But what is most efficient isn't actually most efficient if it causes you to, number one, quit the game, or number two, not have fun, right? When you're playing a video game, your main goal is enjoyment. At least in my opinion, your main goal is enjoyment, and that enjoyment comes through two things, in my opinion: fun and efficiency. And usually you have to combine. You can't really enjoy a game usually without some amount of efficiency and some amount of fun. You usually need both, but it depends. Everybody's different. I think the biggest thing I recommend is try to find your percentage. How much of the, like, and maybe it changes each day. Maybe you wake up really well rested. It's a Saturday. You have all day to play PokeMMO. Maybe you want to play 90% efficiently that day, or 60% or 80% or whatever. Maybe you just got home from work. You're exhausted. You're tired. You only have an hour. You want to play 20% efficiently. Throw on a movie with the wife. You know, like casually grind. Like, play the game however you want to play, and just try to ask yourself every day, find those percentages, find how you want to play the game today is a really good question to ask yourself. Just started PokeMMO this week. Love it, dude. Happy to have you. Welcome. I've been noticing, I think there's always, PokeMMO is really lucky because we're attached to the Pokemon IP. We almost always get a huge influx of new players. PokeMMO is a very seasonal game for a lot of people. If you play it long enough, you'll start to realize there's a lot of people that come into the game and a lot of people that leave. And then those players who leave come back very often. It's kind of like it's almost like a wave crashing. PokeMMO is like the ocean, like new players leave, new players leave, and it's like sometimes it's the new players leaving, sometimes it's old players taking a break. Are there things that we could do? I would love to increase player retention. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the biggest concerns. For a long time, I think player retention was the biggest concern in PokeMMO. I no longer think it is. I think it's like the second biggest. I think the biggest is the economy, which it plays into player retention. I think the number one problem right now is economy. Number two is player retention. But I've been noticing, I've been noticing a huge surge of new players recently in PokeMMO. I do feel like there has been. I've been seeing, just anecdotally, I don't want to say, you know, statistically, but anecdotally, I have seen so many YouTube comments, more than usual YouTube comments, Twitch comments, in stream, off stream, of people being like, hey, I'm new to the game. I just started playing. People who started playing in October and played their first event. It's really cool to see. We're really lucky. PokeMMO is a very, very lucky game because one of the main ways that most MMOs die is by not getting new players. We literally have solved one of the biggest problems in MMOs. Most MMOs die by not getting new players. And we don't have that problem at all in PokeMMO, which is insane. We take for granted, there's always things to solve, there's always things to work on, don't get me wrong, but we take for granted, we've solved a lot of amazing things in PokeMMO. We never appreciate that. We never like smell the roses, you know? So just, that's a beautiful thing that we're constantly getting in new players. It's a really important thing for the health of the game. No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I've been talking about it for years, and chat's talking about it now. Someone asked, when does the Christmas event usually drop? And it's usually somewhere between December 24th and December 26th, which is, to put it nicely, not ideal. I would love to see the event season schedule change to where the Halloween event drops on October 1st, and then it's like October 1st to October 15th. So then you can actually like go trick-or-treat with your kids, or have trick-or-treaters put out candy on Halloween. And then so Halloween event on like October 1st, or if you want to do October 15th to 30th, sure. Probably 1st, so spread it out more. My ideal schedule is October 1st to October 15th. And then Christmas would be like, start like December 20th, which is when a lot of people are off for school, off of work break. Maybe not quite yet for work break, but like people are starting to get off around December 20th. And then you have like the first 5 days to play the event before Christmas Day, where you're with family and loved ones. You don't have to like, you know, be on PokeMMO that day. I'd love to see October 1st to October 15th, December 20th to January 5th, which still interlaps New Year's, which is tough. And then Lunar New Year event can be whenever that is every single year, right? But I would love to see the dates changed for at least Christmas. And if people want to change, I don't know enough about Lunar New Year, obviously. If they want to change it for that, I'd love to see that as well. I would love to see the dates spread out a bit more for the holiday season, because it's just so overwhelming. It's so much. A lot of people quit. A lot of people burn out during events, after events. It's so much back to back, as well as the timing and IRL time. Christmas and the holidays are already busy as hell. Thanksgiving is coming up in 6 days as I'm recording this. Like, people are grocery shopping. People don't have time to be playing PokeMMO right now. And then Christmas comes around, like, people are wrapping presents, decorating, putting up lights, putting up the tree, ornaments, buying all these things. There's so much. I love PokeMMO. PokeMMO should not be on people's minds, you know. To that, we have other things, and I love this game, but like I would love to change the schedule a bit to make it more viable for the average person. All right, catch event results are coming in, fellas. In 4th place with the lowest score of 18. Someone in my Twitch chat had a 20. Really close. One of their first catch events, I believe. Really close, man. Nice try. 18. I like the name. Z-Shock. Congratulations, man. A really nice 4th place score. Wow. That's a pretty low 3rd place. 165? I feel like this event was pretty, like, under competitive because, you know, Chikorita is not exactly the most like competitively viable mon, you know, if people don't really care about 6 episode over Medium, so it was a good one for Iron Man, right? 3rd place with V2V 165. That's a pretty low 3rd place score. 2nd place Frin Goat 167. I think a lot of people are also burnt out from, you know, Halloween event recently. And then but 1st place blew everybody out of the water with a 174. Over to Ziri PT. Congratulations, man. Some insane winners, insane catches. Pretty low scoring event overall, but then 1st place just like was so above and beyond, man. Congrats to everybody who participated. Good luck to everybody next catch event. There are still tons of events coming up for this weekend. There's 2 more events this weekend, guys. Keep in mind, we got to just keep going and try our hand at the next one. All right, but that is going to be it for me today, fellas. A pretty quick stream. Just wanted to throw on for the catch event. I'll probably be live tomorrow, ideally. Either tomorrow or Sunday for one of the other catch events. I'll see which one I care about more. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not. Subscribe for daily PokeMMO videos every single day. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below. If you're interested in that, if you know, like the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal, Venmo, all that jazz helps a ton. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and enjoy PokeMMO. I'll see you guys later. But for now, peace, Reno.
Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to take this time to say thank you to everyone who goes above and beyond and supports my channel. Your names are all listed here. You make it possible for me to make helpful and mildly entertaining content for the game that I love and make it available for free for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much for allowing me to even be here.